Hello and welcome back to yet another great bonus edition of This Week in Christian History. We enjoy our conversations that we are able to have with Kaylena Radcliff, who is the managing editor of Christian History Magazine. And we love getting a little insider, little preview, little update of the magazine. We really appreciate very much our relationship with the Christian History Institute and all the great things that we are all trying to move in that same direction, right? And we're thinking about coming up with another tagline, Kaylena, which is the more you know, the more you grow. How
Oh, I
about
love
that?
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
well, that was, that was worth what you paid for it. So don't let that bother us. Well, tell us what is in this upcoming magazine. And this
Absolutely.
is
So
our edition. This is our regular edition, not the boat, not the, or this is the
this
extra.
is the bonus. Yeah.
This is the bonus. Okay. Okay.
So we did just release a bonus issue of Christian history, and it is called let me pull it up the title here so I can tell you. Fasts and Feasts, a historical guide to the church calendar. So this does look a little different from our typical Christian history magazine because it is oriented as a guide. And what it does is it walks you through the church year. Our senior editor, Jennifer Woodruff Tate, who has, I believe, worked with you guys before
Oh,
for different
yes.
classes. Yeah. She wrote this guide primarily. So she walks through all the content here. And she talks about all kinds of things. So here, I'll give you a little preview. So we
Right.
have uh, background in Jewish feasts and fasts that have informed the Christian calendar. And then
Yeah.
she walks through the various seasons, such as Advent, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day, the 12 days of Christmas, which actually comes after Christmas, which you'll learn about when you read the guide. We look at Epiphany, Ash Wednesday, and Lent season, Easter as well, and then some other church calendar days such as the Ascension and Pentecost,
Mhm.
Trinity Sunday, All Saints Day, and Christ the King, which is I believe, a newer feast.
Yeah, I
And
don't
then
know.
she also walks through ordinary time and the saint cycle, which is called the sanctoral cycle. So all kinds of things. And we also try to cover it from various tradition. So not only while the perspective is more of like a mainline Protestant
Uh-huh.
perspective, we also are looking at the Catholic calendar and the Orthodox calendar, and so all that stuff figuring into this guide.
Well, so does the guide actually have, if I go to March or whatever, is it going to show me not necessarily this is what's happening on March the 6th, 2026, but is it going to say generally in March, these are the days and this is the X number of days? It's just like love
Yeah,
moves around, right? Mardi Gras moves around, right? I mean,
right.
because it's not always the same day depending on when Easter is. So how
Right.
does all
So
that function?
the actual guide kind of walks through the general seasons and when they start and when they end. So there's a couple of dates that don't necessarily move, but everything actually does in the church calendar. It looks a little different from the calendar year because it does depend on um, the start of. Well, it's different for Catholic versus Orthodox. So
Sure.
we have a little guide in the middle of the issue called our Christian year uh, calendar. We have it. It's a circle, and it shows you kind of how that time works out.
I got you.
So I would refer you to that to look at that. We do also have at the back of the guide resources. So if you want to look at what's happening on a particular day of the year, such as what saints are being celebrated this
Hmm.
day, we have several different links, and one for the Orthodox calendar, I
Sure.
think one for the Catholic calendar, and then one
Mhm.
for more mainline Protestant denominations. So all kinds of resources you can look up.
How about that? So if I am Orthodox and I want to make sure I know what is the day that I'm going to be celebrating whatever, is there's links to that? Are the links going back to Christian History Institute spot? Or are they going to other calendars of other groups?
So a lot of the links go in the recommended resources are outside of Christian history. So if you go to the back page and you can actually look at the magazine online and go right to the links there and click on them. So you can click on the various church. We have a listing of websites, and I'm just looking at it now, and it has all of all of these various church ones. So you could click on Greek Orthodox Archdiocese of America, and it would tell you what's happening today.
Gotcha.
And the reason that's the case is because it was too much to put in this,
I
this
can
guide.
imagine.
Lots of things that you can look at, but you can look at various perspectives and various traditions and how they celebrate each day.
Very cool. So that's part of what always great work that Dr. Woodruff Tate does on giving us the good information and helping us understand those things. So I guess technically what I could do, right, I could click on some of those links and I could figure out what's happening today or what's going to
Hmm.
happen next week. And I might be able to merge some of that together and say, well, if you're Orthodox, this is what's happening on Friday, but day after tomorrow, then this is a saint's day or this is some other piece or part that would
Yeah.
help you kind of figure it out.
Yeah,
Wow.
so it is helpful, and it also so the guide too, it kind of walks you through the history of it as well. So it's
Yes.
saying here's how the church is traditionally celebrated. Here's how these feasts or fasts or seasons have developed over time, and and in various traditions. So we're pulling at a lot of different threads here, and what the last article about the saint cycle is very interesting actually because one thing that I found interesting is that cycle, the cycle of saints, because those feast days happen all year round
Hmm.
during all these different seasons,
Right.
which is
Right.
the main church
They
calendar.
double
So
dip. Right.
so the discussion about, oh, how do we do that in a way that's not overwhelming to the main church calendar, that she does walk us through that a little bit as well.
Fantastic. And just like all of the great resources that happen at the from the Christian History Institute, we know that Christian History Magazine is the prime one that we get to visit on, but there are a ton of resources at Christian History Institute, and the magazine is always free, right? How about that? And so, not that as a great nonprofit, you wouldn't be open to anybody to, as we Baptists tend to say, if the Spirit moves you, that you would like to be able to drop them a check or tell them thank you. That certainly is something that is welcome to know, but help us understand where we find the resources. Where do we come to find this latest copy of this bonus edition?
So you can go right to our website, www.christianhistoryinstitute.org. The magazine will be right on the main page there, and you'll see it. Our latest guide, Fast and Feast, come right up for you.
How about that? And you can download the PDF if that's your thing, or you could read
Hmm.
it online that way, or you could go old school like me and have one delivered to your mailbox, right?
Yeah.
So you can add it to your collection for you to be able to, but the info's there one way or the other. So
Yeah, and one thing I do want to add is this is a
please.
great resource if you're looking to incorporate more historic practices into your own, your home life or your church life. We do have sections at the end of each article that talk about, well, how do you incorporate this, or
Oh,
how can you learn more about the liturgical year and how that affects you as a Christian? So I'd encourage
yes.
you to check it out at the very least.
Absolutely. Well, I can promise you I check them out every single time. And it's a great resource. And there's always just fantastic information in there. And there's, that it is about part of what I think we all agree and want to know
Mhm.
is the more things that I know about why and how things come together in my church life and my way that I do sanctification, it may very well be that that helps me to understand, oh, I see why it is that that particular denomination does it that way, but it also that informs me to know I don't really think I jive with that, and that's
Mhm.
why I do it this way. But it does bring some appreciation, and it
Yeah,
could even be able to do something that helps me to grow deeper. So, hot diggity
absolutely.
dog, hot, great. Well, Kalina, that's great. Thank you so much for taking a little time with us. We'd encourage everybody to be able to go back and click on the site and be able to get a copy of the of this bonus edition. And we always appreciate very much our relationship with you guys, and are glad that we are pushing on the same side of the noodle. How about
Yeah.
that?
Thank you. I appreciate our conversations every time. So,
Absolutely. That's why this is a bonus. So, all right. Thanks a bunch.